Today, let's go over a new update for Qubit MCP. Let's open the app. I've changed the thumbnail for it, the icon. Now we have the recent workflow. Let's open one of these workflows here. We've added some major updates. You can focus the graph right there. Usually we just had the 2D mode, but now we have 3 different modes. We can toggle them with the hotkeys. Now we have a DCC inside this MCP server, so we can manage assets. Right now we have the ability to see the assets like that. We can rotate. So this is an object, OBJ. We have different file types. This is the GLTF, and we also have a FBX format. So for example, in this one, we also can see the wireframe, and we have a grid as well. I've added a top side panel here with a bunch of different settings. So yeah, let's see. This is another asset here. It's a chair, and we can focus on them. We have different navigation modes, but let's look at that after. Let's go over. These are the 3D assets, but also we have another integration of Gaussian splats. As you can see in here, we have, let's see, this one is, I think, inverted. So on the bottom here, in the bottom corner, you can see the orientation of the camera. So this asset is inverted. Let's load another one. Same with this one. The reason the camera jumps like that is because I have 2 different modes for the camera. In this mode, we can rotate it almost like you're rotating the actual model, and it's not constrained on the roll. If I go to this one, then in this one, it kind of stays. It doesn't go sideways essentially. But in this mode, you can kind of see it like that. Here's another Gaussian splat. By the way, these ones, so yeah, let's take a snapshot of this, because this one, the thumbnail was taken at a specific angle, and we don't have that. So let's go to the settings here, and let's bring this pan and zoom up. Now we can navigate a little better. The pan is a little bit too strong still. Okay, that's better. We can find ourselves a better angle. Let's turn that grid off, and also, let's see, having trouble navigating. Okay, let's frame it, and let's go find this mode. Allows me to zoom. It's a little different zoom. Okay, there we go. And let's turn the wireframe off, because the wireframe has 2 different modes. One is to show the volume. So yeah, this is and the other one is just a normal 3D mesh. So then yeah, we go, so we can see it in wide mode, or this mode, and then we can take a snapshot with the snapshot button, and then that will take a snapshot, put it in there, and we have different versions here. And then the one we just took is now, if we navigate away from it and we click again, it will bring the camera back to that position. And then now when we save this workflow, well, that's more for the scenes, because there's no way to move this object here. This is just a preview mode. So we can see what the asset looks like and kind of position the camera where we want our thumbnail to go. And this is more for just viewing the assets. And now the other feature is a scene node where we can compose different scenes. So in this one, we've got, let's put that camera constraint again, so we can navigate without rolling the camera. So in this node, you can see on the side here, we have different objects in the scene, and we can toggle their visibilities off and on. There's one chair here. Yeah, we can toggle them off. Again, see, let's focus on one of these. Yeah, there we go. So this button here is it's a different way to focus on the objects and see how it just zooms into the pivot of it. And if I put this one, it zooms wherever the camera goes, so wherever the cursor is. Now we have the ability to rotate objects with the rotation gizmo, and we also have undos, so we can correctly position it back where we had it. We can do undo, redo, and we can move it. So let's move this over here. Yeah, like that. Yeah, we can undo it. We have the scale. So we have, these are hotkeys, so I've got them on T, R, and E. And yeah, we can scale them however we want. We can make it a little bigger. Same with this. Also, yeah, we can just manipulate them here too. Let's say we just want it 0. Yeah, we can just zero them out. Zero the rotation. And yeah, move them over here. Okay, so let's put it back where it was. And yeah, we have another small little tool here, which is just a turntable. We want to have our objects just rotate. We can put them back. And yeah, the splats also can be rotated. So let's find the gizmo there. And it can be repositioned. And it performs pretty well. And this one has got pretty big volume. Let's see. Yeah, it's very big. The volume for this one. Let's take this one just has 2 different splats. So yeah, this one, let's select it properly. Yeah. This one, okay, this one is a little buggy. Let's go to a different, because it's got 2 different splats. It's not set up the same as the objects. So for example, this one, the camera's off. So let's just find our camera and our asset. Okay, it's up there. Let's turn off the wireframe. So here it is. Let's bring our asset down. So right there, how it looks like the horse is in a weird sort of state. So if I put the depth test here, now we have the asset rendering on top. And let's orient ourselves here. Let's just kind of fix this scene so we can have an idea how to manipulate things. We have different modes for the gizmo. If we have this one here, then now we're on world space, and the other one was more like local space. So the grid has some effects for optimization, so we can turn that off because it's causing problem with the rendering of the splats. I mean, the splats is more like having problem with the rendering the grid there. And let's toggle this to world transforms, and now we got our splat flat on the grid. Now if we save this, now this coordinates are saved for the splats. So next time we open the workflow, the workflow will remember our positions. The node here is just the thumbnails, and the actual JSON file of the scene is what's saved in the coordinates for each scene. And also the undo and redo just saves it on a history file. Where's our other asset? Right there. Let's bring it up. Turn off the wireframe. And let's put it somewhere here. Let's rotate it a bit. Okay. So let's put it somewhere here. Okay, that's good. Now let's see. Let's take a screenshot of it. Let's turn off that gizmo. There. Now we take a snapshot. Let's take another snapshot from this side. You can see the difference. And there it is. We've got a new snapshot. And now when we view it again, it will bring back this camera view. So, there we go. Now let's see. Okay, we have also just another scene that I set up with. It was more like an environment asset. This is more like a bigger size, just an FBX. You can see the wireframe. And again, we can just rotate it. Everything. Oh, there's another feature. It's just a light. Sometimes you just want to control the lighting a little bit. This one is just focus. We can take snapshots. That's what this button here is for. And then, yeah, the stats. So you can see different settings for textures and things like that. We can take a snapshot of it. Let's put it here. And let's open it back up. And there it is. We can remove the gizmo and do another take. Also, let's put it on the bigger full screen. Let's save that and let's take another look. Yep. And also, this also works with the Gaussians. Let's go full screen. Take a shot of this. There it is. Now let's take a look at some of the wiring of the scenes. So how we can make a scene. So we can go with tab, we can go scene, enter. We take this. Also, let's make another import. These import nodes are aware of what you're feeding them. So if you give it an object path, it knows to use that. If we give it a texture, it will also just attach the texture to it. And there we go. Now we have our textures on. And now we take and plug it into the scene. Now when we see the scene, we have that object here. If I rename it, it also updates here. So now we have those two things. Let's take a snapshot of it. If we want to take a snapshot of it on the side, now we toggle that camera, so we can turn our camera on the side. Turn it like that. Take the snapshot. Now we have it with the snapshot. See. Now let's take another. Let's take one of these splats. And let's move this down here. And connect the splat. Let's use this other one. Like that. Now, there's a way to control these wires. Let's see, I put it somewhere there. But yeah, like I can click the wires like that, and now I create a little pin. So I can wire things a little bit more cleanly. See, okay, there. That's a little bit more organized. Yeah, you can put it inside one of these. By the way, this one's, I can control them. I can add the different nodes. I can select differently. Let's create a wrapper for this. I can remove wires. Let's see what this scene looks like now. I didn't wire it correctly. Okay, that's why. This to the scene. Let's do it again. And let's put a pin right there. Now let's view it. Okay, so we got our scene assembled. We got our katana and our tree. And now let's see where the grid is. Okay, so we need to rotate this tree. Let's rotate it up. Let's turn off the effects off. And our rotation gizmo. Let's turn on our global position. Let's get a little bit more rotation there. That's almost there. Let's turn off our camera tilt navigation. That's better. Yeah, these plots are coming in a bit rotated, but we've fixed it pretty well now. Let's rotate it a little bit more. I've also got to trim them eventually with a trimming volume. That'll be for the next update. Okay, now saved. So now this is saved. The scene is saved. And let's find our katana. Okay, the katana's there. Let's turn off the grid. Okay, now we can move it. Let's turn on the local transforms. Let's see. And let's scale it to, let's scale a little bit. Let's put it at 2. Let's put it at scale 2. A bit too big actually. So let's undo that. Bring the light up a little bit. Should we put it like that, or yeah, that's fine. Let's move it a little bit this way. Let's turn on this zoom. Oh, the zoom is very sensitive. Let's turn it back down a little bit. Okay, that's probably better. Yeah. Focus. one. Okay, that's a little better to control. Yeah, I added all these different settings because right now I'm trying to figure out what are the right standard settings that works for everything. So that's good. So now that we've got it like that, let's take a screenshot of it. Let's take our Gizmo off. Put it somewhere there. And now let's take a snapshot. And there we go. Now we have our scene assembled and ready. So we want to take another far away shot. Let's take it there. A little bit higher. Okay, so, and then now we can go back to the other versions. That's what these versions here do. Each scene has, so each scene has a unique number. If you see over here, you have the path where the thumbnail is and the name of the thumbnail, and then this is the actual ID for this scene. So that way when you change the name, things don't break. So see, I just changed the name there and everything still works. Otherwise, if you change the name, maybe it breaks. And yeah, so these are different hidden attributes that we can have on there. And now we have our scene. Let's leave it there. Let's take another look at, let's look at this Google Maps extracted 3D meshes. They're in FBX format. They have a bunch of textures and things like that. So they're kind of heavy. It's taking a while to load, but it's got a lot of polygons that can handle. There we go. So in this one, because it's so big, the pan needs to be a bit higher. Yeah, the panning, the base pan. There we go. Turn that light down a little bit. Yeah, so now we can see the wireframe. This one's got, let's see how many. Yeah, it's got, let's see, where the mesh. Yeah, indices. So it's got a lot. It's got like 2 million. Yeah, almost 3 million. So that's a lot of vertices. Let's take another look at another one. So yeah, it can handle pretty heavy scenes. There's one that it combines all these maps, and it's pretty big in terms of size. Yeah, it can get pretty close in there. It's pretty cool. I extracted this with it was RenderDoc and maybe like a Blender plugin. Let's see. This one's the biggest one. It's got all of them together. I just want to check the vertex count because it must be, it's probably like 5 million or something. Yeah, it must be more than 5 million. There's another feature that I've added, but look at that last. It's a chatbot that looks at the different notes that I'm using for the development of the app. Okay, there we go. So it loaded. Yeah, and this one it's very heavy. So this one's got, let's see, 3 million. Yeah, almost 4 million vertices. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. Another thing, for example, that we can take a look is this grid here. Actually, let's load this one. See, the grid is grid effects. There we go. Yeah, I had to kind of tweak the grid to be able to, the grid has to update. When you move, the grid looks infinite, essentially. Let's take a look at the grid. So the grid is, it's right there. And as we move, the grid sort of re-renders. There's an effect to it, but in big scenes the effect doesn't work very well, but it's being rendered in a procedural way where sort of optimized for making it look like it's infinite. So the tilt angle, things like that, sort of render it closer or farther away. So see, as I get closer, it gets smaller. Let's take another look at this splat here. This one, I can get a little closer there. Get like that. Yeah, this one is this one's got reflections on the windows, sort of. This one is the highest resolution one, so this one is pretty high res. Yeah, it's got a lot of splats, and it's pretty small, so we can position it. Let's see in a shot where I put it. So yeah, I put it there, and when we move it, sort of glitches out a little bit, but it's still pretty responsive. And yeah, let's just look at other splats. It's pretty fun looking at them. This one's got the katana here. Yep, there we go. So the katana's on the floor down there. Select it up and bring it up. And let's put it on the table here. I think this world is already centered. Okay, we've got our katana. Let's put it in place here. Let's put it on the table. Like that. And let's just take a quick snapshot of it. Bring up the light a bit, and there we go. It's a good snapshot. Let's have another look at other splats here. This one is of a kitchen table. So another one. Take a look at this one. The room, and there's this one of a toy. It's not centered. I also added this top menu here. We can go back and open recent workflows. That way we can manage our workflows better. So that one is loading, and we can save, we can have our settings. Here are our hotkeys. So we can customize our hotkeys. For example, if we go to our viewport here and want to change a hotkey for the wireframe, put it to H. Now we have H, and when we save this, it just saves to the app. So now that's a permanent thing. We have debugging logs, and the help menu brings up a documentation file where we have, for example, all our hotkeys here, and just a bunch of documents, documentation about how the app works. So it's more like a user manual, pretty straightforward. That's going to be all the overview for the DCC portion of the MCP server. I'm looking into publishing this at some point. It's going to be it for the DCC portion of the app, and stay tuned for updates. See you next time.